There we go. It takes a second to pop up. I'm staring at I had the wrong stream key in. Doing it through the OBS setup sometimes has its challenges. I'm all of those challenges. It's not challenging. It's challenging for Tom. So welcome to Vlog Thursday. You had to look at it's number 461. Great. Welcome, all of you. Great to be here. I got a lot of cameras, so I had to make sure which one I'm pointing at. When I do it, I did it with Jeff from Craft Computing last week, and it was easy. A little more challenging when I'm doing it by myself to make sure I'm looking at the right place and everything else. I will get this started with a little ad read. Get the things going here. Oh, I am now really, what in the world? This is, oh man. Thank you, Copilot, because that's clearly what I wanted. I wanted Copilot to come up. I was like, I don't love, eventually I'm going to move my stream computer away from Windows and it's going to be happier. But this video is brought to you by Meter, the company building full stack networks from the ground up. We thank them for their support. Learn more at lawrencesystems.com. No, I'm sorry. Learn more at lawrence.video/meter. That's lawrence.video/METER to learn more about the sponsor for today's live stream, Meter. All right. So why does it pop up like that? Like you get a little overlay thing going on. I don't know. Windows is painful. No one should be using Windows. I don't want to use Windows. I actually don't hate the Mac, which bothers me a little bit. We're going to switch cameras here so I can be more interactive with the chat. So let's see. My head's there. Let's move my head over here. How am I looking? This setup is different than before. I know the chat's smaller when we do it this way because I'm looking at this actual chat window. Move the microphone over a little bit. All right. Is it nice and clear? Things are looking good. I can make myself a little bigger. The good news is about using OBS in this setup is it's the picture quality seems really good. All right. Stay on target. Yeah. You're on mute. Hello. Good afternoon. Lots of people joining in. Great to hang out. I get to meet a lot of people, which was awesome. I was just in Miami yesterday. We'd appreciate if everyone would turn on the camera. Yeah. So this is great. This is awesome. Great. So lots to talk about today. I can't talk about things, and this is obviously controversial in some ways. So UniFi does these world conferences, which are really cool. I love that they're doing them. So thank you, UniFi, for putting those on. I get to meet a lot of people. I get to talk directly with lots of the UniFi people. I mean, I can email them, and I like actually being in person, just having a conversation. It's just a great time. And they had a gathering of creators, which is also cool. So I get to meet some of those. And the things that they released are not for the general public knowledge. So I can't repeat all the stuff they released. I mean, some things they've been published on their site, so they've been cleared, so to speak, and that's fine. But I don't think that's the most interesting thing. I think to me, there's a lot of good stuff coming. Big thumbs up to the releases, not knocking them. But I want to talk about something I thought is really important that came out of the UniFi in the keynote by their CEO. The way he kicked it off was, and to me, this is something that says a lot. He got out there and really reassured us that UniFi is not going the way of all these other companies and charging us a bunch of licensing fees and subscriptions. And he also said something that got applause from the crowd is, you bought the hardware, you own the hardware. Like, you own it, you can use it. And I think that's just one of those, I like that UniFi said it. I hate that it has to be said, because we're at such a point now where there's almost an expectation that you don't even barely have rights to or own the things you buy. You're tying them to subscriptions. They can be turned off at any time. The applications on them can be changed at any moment by the arbiters of said applications. And I'm just like, it's so painful that that's like an accepted thing now, that we applaud when someone says, I'm actually going to sell you a product and let you own it. Huh? How's that? I mean, I'm not knocking at UniFi said. I'm really happy they said it. It's them going against the grain makes me really happy, but that is a crazy concept. Be nice to have a UniFi conference live stream. Yeah, I got to hang out with Cody. Always a good time. Always lots of fun. But yeah, I thought about that a lot. Just I'm so happy they said it. It goes a long way, but it's also so mind numbing that like that's the differentiator to market, and it really is. There's not many companies in the networking space at all that offer that. I think it's really come down to, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know enough about Grandstream, so I can't really tell you enough about him. Maybe someone will chime. Maybe I should reach out to Willie and just ask him so I have a better understanding, because I know he likes Grandstream. But there's UniFi, there's and MeekerTick, and I don't like TP-Link much. I don't trust them on security at all, and it's just, yeah, there's not many companies out there. Like, it's just all the other big companies are so into this whole, let's wrap you up in a license, and if you don't pay the fees, it all turns off. So yeah. And oh, by the way, Bearded IT Dad, thank you very much for the donation. So awesome. I see you here in the super chat. Very cool. Yeah, there's no, and this is, the downstream for the Homelab, like Bearded IT Dad said, nothing's really perpetual anymore. This is absolutely a challenge because, like anything you buy, I mean, it works now as long as the subscriptions are paid. And then when the subscriptions are over, it's just a big e-waste problem. Unless someone reverse engineers it, figures out a way to break the locks that are on there, which then again, now will get you into potential legal problems. It's just such a mess. And that's not how the PC market was. It's not the PC market or just general technology market. Like, I bought a product. If that product's 10 years old, it still works. I still own it. The whole don't kill games movement and everything else, it all kind of ties together. It's just crazy. So I see someone says the Grandstream doesn't have a license. Like I said, I'm not really as familiar with it. So, because I'm trying to remember which one, if it was, there's, I feel like it was QNAP. We had a discussion, me and another tech did. I didn't know this, and he told me QNAP has a license fee for some port speed. I don't know if this is on modern QNAP, but some of the QNAP switches had licenses. I'm like, really? Like, just, yeah. Oh, don't kill thermostats. There's another one too. That's obviously caused quite a bit of controversy, is the entire don't kill thermostats thing. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is, just in case it wasn't clear, I had a wonderful time meeting many of you at the live stream or at the UniFi event. So I seen some of you on this live stream were commenting on it. So just really happy to engage with, meet in person, etc. Awesome time. I got to see so many people. I don't, it's the asymmetrical of, hey, Tom, and there's always, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, I see you from the channel, so I know who you are, and I am so-and-so. You helped me with this, you helped me with that. Loved hearing it. Great stories, great interactions. So anyone who took the time to come up and say hi to me, 2 thumbs up. Loved hearing from you. So absolutely. Google not killing a product would be a miracle, because we all know about the Google graveyard. If anyone does it, why not pull it up? Just because we can have a laugh at it. Or this site. I mean, there's variations of it, but this one is... there we go. Killed by Google. So, yeah, that's a thing. Someone asked me which Apple I got. I got a Mac Studio. Pro with 30. I think it's a Pro. Off the top of my head, I don't have the answer, but I think it's a Pro. Oh, I see Unified IT in there. Oh, by the way, let me share this. I shared it online, but I'll throw it in my socials here. Pull up the YouTube. right here. So there's a interview that you can find over at Unified IT. That's a great two people looking in different directions and one excited host. So yes, check out this video. I will throw the link in here right now for all of you. So if you want, we talked about the conference. I'm leaving it on that screenshot there. No, check this out. This is me and Cody. And somewhere along the way, they edited and add some stuff. That's Tom drinking a White Claw. So actually, I think all of us had White Claw, now that I think about it. So oh yeah, I think there's someone had a burp counter in the video. Well, they should have added a burp counter. Apparently someone was counting the burps in the video. That's a funny thing. Already watched, good video, awesome. Eyelid inspection. Fun times, fun times. All right. Back to the other thing I was talking about. Now that we got that, I forgot to add that. I was going to add that in the notes there, but now you guys have it. It's not hard to find. It's the UWC 2025 Talking UniFi with Orange Systems, Mac Telecom. You got the video title. I dropped the link in there for you. But coincidentally, and I wanted to talk about this and just give it a mention. I don't know if it needs a dedicated video. Maybe, I don't know. How do you, there it is. I say, how do you zoom on a Mac? I just thought about that. Like, I don't have that answer easily. This is a company called, Catchify. Move my head so you can see their name. There's some security researchers, and they found a bug in UniFi. So CVE 2025-52665. A remote code execution UniFi access. And this is a really nice write-up. They were digging around. They had access to the network. They're on the main network. This is important. They're not in a zone that doesn't have access to the UniFi interface. So first prerequisite, this is not remote. It is remote execution, but it's not external. It is local as in on the LAN, but it's still an RCE because it's remote code execution because you have to be on the LAN that has access, or a LAN that has access to the UniFi system. And this is just a nice write-up. And let me also throw a link in there for anyone who wants to read along. I was going to do a dedicated video on this. I don't really think it's worth a dedicated video because I want to point out that, one, great work by this team at Catchify. It's a complicated set of things they did, so to speak, of digging in, finding it. And they found a flaw in a way to essentially chain together an exploitation if you have UniFi access installed. So it took certain conditions, and they were able to figure out how to build this and build a chain together to get this. And like I said, really good work. But the important part, let me scroll down to the bottom here. This is what I wanted to point out. And people say things like, oh, you're not critical of UniFi. You've made videos on lots of companies when it comes to security. And I have, especially companies like Fortinet, because they've done such a terrible job of it. Versus this is what you want to see. Security's hard, security's complicated. We're going to always have some type of flaws. How did that company respond to the flaws? So someone finds a flaw in UniFi. They go through, they submit the bug, and the speed at which UniFi reported on October 9th, look at this, 1814. UniFi was working, like acknowledged it as in like human interaction in an hour. That's impressive. They also fixed it. This came out, like the fix came out, like, I don't know if it was a week later, roughly, days. And by the way, no exploitation in the wild. This was found by a security researcher, properly disclosed, immediately patched. I mean, this is October. We're not even, okay, we're a little past 30-something days. There's usually, because you want to give people time to patch. So even though the patch came out right away, the thing that didn't come out right away was like making sure that everyone's patched. So you don't drop the information on the vulnerability. You give people time to patch, because as we know, just because the patch is out doesn't mean people loaded it, but the patch was made available right away and they paid out $25,000, which solid. This is one of the things, like, this is security done right. We want to see responsible disclosure, acknowledge there's a problem, fix the problem fast, and then top that off, write a check. Because a lot of vulnerability researchers will do it just because they want to do it. This is like, oh no, we're generous and we'll give you 25 grand. Ubiquity's got a really good payout program. They don't just have a bug bounty program. They got a good payout. They pay more than a lot of other companies. And a lot of other bigger networking companies don't pay this much for bugs. So I just want to say is like, it's one of those, this is the way to handle it. The way some of these other companies handle it is deny, 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 pretend it doesn't exist, stick their head in the sand, hope the vulnerability researcher just goes away and doesn't tell anyone. And you look at all, I mean, SonicWall. SonicWall is like, oh, it only affects only a small percentage of our customers. Turns out all of them. It turns out they didn't encrypt anything. Turns out it was like one problem after another. This is like an oversight type of bug versus we didn't set this whole thing up right bug. So this is why there's been not a lot of these type of things that happen, but because of the severity of this particular bug, I thought it was interesting. They've had other bugs and they're kind of nothing burgers. They're enough that money was paid out and they're happy to be fixed, but they weren't really that bad. So this is one of the reasons I haven't done a lot, because, I see Chris on here, tell Sangoma to take notes. Yeah, Sangoma is not ready to fix CVEs and things like that. They're an example of that. But this is the way you want to see security done. And that makes me happy, because that's what I like, is seeing, Ubiquity's not the only company doing it, but I thought they're a good topic because I'm talking about Ubiquity. This all came out, I think, the day before the UniFi Row conference. So serendipitous timing. We're at a UniFi event and learning about a UniFi issue. So yeah. Sangoma's answer: find a bug, we'll remove the program. Yeah. They're just so many of these companies like that. Or my favorite, and there's a video I did a couple years ago because Cisco has a completely different take on this. Cisco has decided, camera over here now. Cisco had the decision to end of life products. Like they've changed their end of life policy. If you Google or look at my channel for Cisco end of life changes, I think I did the video in 2023, a couple years ago. Cisco just decided to change policies so they don't have to patch. They're like, oh, you found bugs in our old products? We'll just deprecate them. If I'm not mistaken, and it's probably still the same since I did that video, from not end of support, there's EOS as an end of support and there's EOS as an end of sale. You should always have, from the last time the product is sold, you should have at least 5 years. If I'm bidding out a project for something and I want to throw some Cisco in, I should have 5 years on that, at least from the time I'm purchasing the product, because it's available for sale. But that isn't how it works. Cisco has now changed that number to 2 years. So you can go deploy a bunch of switches at your clients, and they have in their terms and conditions, they can discontinue them. I believe it's 2 years. I've got the details in that video, and I share that it didn't used to say that. I used the Wayback Web Machine to find it to what it used to say compared to what it did say. Now, I would fully admit I have not looked back because I don't buy much Cisco gear at all. It's been 2 years since I looked to see if Cisco went back on that, but I have a strong confidence they didn't. So feel free to throw a comment in here if you think Cisco went back to the longer policy. But yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. Make sure I got all of them. All right. Let's see. I think I caught up all the comments. Awesome. Yeah, buy a high cost enterprise item could be out of support in 2 years. Madness. Oh yeah. Yeah. Madness indeed. These companies are just, like I said at the very beginning here, we're excited that UniFi, made clear their strong commitment to supporting things and letting you own them and not turning them off and not licensing them. Awesome. It's crazy world that we live in that someone has to state that. Like, hold on, let me give you the most basic functionality and watch you applaud, because every product has become so incredibly shitified. Yeah, 2 years is like the standard consumer guarantee duration in Europe. That sounds about right. Yeah, we have just gotten to a point, and I mentioned this before. It's a great book, Cory Doctorow's Shitification book. You're not just feeling like things got worse; they are worse. These companies have become very hostile to us as the consumers of technology. And I don't want that to be the case. I've always been someone who loves technology. That's why I'm such a big open source advocate and things like that. And I'm happy that there's been like the people who are active in the community, me, many of you that are in the open source world. I imagine there's a whole lot of you actually probably that are directly in the open source and open source advocates like myself. We're really becoming more engaged because it's the only way forward, only path we can find around places like Broadcom, who have just thought they had a tighter hand on the market. Even Synology, obviously they're trying to walk it back, but really Synology locking us in on hard drives. You thought you were popular enough to be able to pull that off. Yeah, no, that's not a thing. So what are your thoughts on lack of encrypted backups on UNAS? It's a feature on my TrueNAS setup that's very essential. I thought they had some encrypted features. Well, they have encrypted drives, so I guess you would have to leave it up to your backup software to do the encrypting. I don't know. I'm going to dig. I've been testing out some of the new features with the UniFi NAS. I'm going to do an updated video because they've got more stuff coming. They made more announcements, of course, and I like the new functionality of the NAS, but at some point, I like that encrypted data sets are awesome and I use them on TrueNAS, and that might be just a reason that you stay with TrueNAS. I mean, at some point, if you're really worried and have a encryption worry, it may not just be the right product for that. I mean, it'd be cool if they had it, but I don't know that ButterFS, which they're using on these NASs, is something that has good, robust. Maybe it does, because I know Synology has that feature, so maybe it is better than I thought. But there's also some trade-offs, like how good can we encrypt it and also have performance in her? So I don't know. It may be something they add, but if you have critical backups, and I do, there's a reason my most critical and trusted things I want encrypted, if someone were to take my NAS, I have those well encrypted, and it's all on TrueNAS. It's the place I trust. It's one of those use cases. I mean, the average person just goes, oh, I want my photos backed up, and their risk model isn't that someone would steal their NAS physically and get at their photos. That's maybe, but if that is a risk model for you, you're going, well, and for example, for me, all my configuration backups and sensitive data that I might have, even though it's encrypted as well, my backups are encrypted, my sensitive data that I may export also is encrypted. I still don't want someone who physically takes my NAS to be able to poke directly at that data. And all my photos, they're personal photos that are not on Google, and I don't want those out on the internet. They're not anywhere on the internet. The best place to keep digital photos is on an encrypted drive, in my opinion, so I keep them encrypted there. There's a keeper breach. I haven't kept up with that, so let's see. But hopefully it answers your question on the NAS. I'm going to do a deeper dive as they've been adding features to it. But I think the target audience, I mean, great. Absolutely, a lot of you are that target audience, maybe as a home user. And there's a good number of you that are watching are probably business users as well. I think a lot of their rollout and focus on the NAS is they've done a good job on ease of use, file sharing links. Awesome that they got that. But for businesses, a lot of them just want to be able to have some basic NAS system that authenticates to their identity provider. And that's where they're hitting a sweet spot with the NAS. It's inexpensive. It's easy to manage. It fits into the UniFi ecosystem. To me, those are really solid features that the UniFi NAS has. Like, especially for a small business, you're talking about a good win there, being able to go, hey, I'm already using many small businesses, love it or hate it. It is what it is. It's a reality of the world we live in. They're on Office 365. They live and breathe that. Maybe a few of them are on Google, but the split's pretty much, if you took 1,000 businesses, is, I don't know where it is. Small businesses are going to lean towards Office 360 or Google, larger ones to Office 365. But either way, it's, the Venn diagram is almost 100% of 100 businesses is going to be in those two camps. So them targeting business integration to have a NAS on site and being able to do that, that's not a bad spot that UniFi is targeting for that. And I think they make a nice NAS for that feature, that they can tie it into your identity provider. I mean, you can encrypt the drives. So you say encryption is essential, and they have a drive encryption option. So, I mean, that'll solve that. I don't know. I'd have to look at how they're doing, because I don't think that, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I just haven't dove deep enough into software. They don't have a way to create a folder and have it so it requires a password on boot to unlock it. I mean, you can do that with TrueNAS. I've got a whole video on it, but I don't think that's a feature in the I don't know that it's a feature that many of you want, but I think many of you would just be a TrueNAS person. Like, it's the same problem I have with all these other insert name of NAS company, because everyone's getting into the NAS market now, and that's fine. But TrueNAS, there's a reason it's so popular and it has so many features. That is a product that has been in development forever. I mean, TrueNAS and then FreeNAS, it's before that. You're talking about, what was it, since 2008 or 9? So 17 years of continuous open source development. There's a reason there's a lot of really good features inside of the TrueNAS system. What do you think of UniFi Protect offering a way to back up local VR videos recordings to the cloud? I don't remember seeing that, or seeing that as an option. So the backups are, so you view your UniFi Protect via their cloud relay, but you don't, that I know of, store anything on their cloud. It's all about local storage. So they have a backup. I mean, I think they are probably at some point, maybe they'll add more backup features so you can back it up to some other cloud. I mean, the problem with backing up the stuff to the cloud is it's expensive. But if it's the only place you don't have a second location to back it up to, then it is what it is. We have a lot of people who store things in Backblaze, Wasabi, the popular providers, because where else are you going to put it? I've talked about this with really a lot of NASs. I have the videos I've done on TrueNAS talking about backing up. You got to put your data somewhere. If you don't have a friend or a second location to keep it, the cloud is your next friend. It is what it is. So put it in the cloud and away you go. I don't think so. The problem I have is everyone wants simplified ACLs. I want simplified access control lists and everything on that. I don't think you realize how hard it is to make something simplified when it comes to how SMB is handled. It's just the way Samba works. And by the way, the same problem, watching people who use Windows and think they know how to do permissions, screw up permissions, it's a pretty common problem. There's just some complexity in permissions. I think I've done a video on it. Maybe I'll do a new one in 2025. I don't think anything's changed on the permissions. Matter of fact, now in some ways they make it easy, because when you create a share, you just check the box and it just creates the permissions for the share. I think it's the fact that people need more training on how access control lists work. Now, there is obviously some challenges because if you're not running Active Directory, you just have a lot of limitations. Most of the businesses tie their TrueNAS shares to an AD server, so it's not really an issue. Do you think HexOS will simplify TrueNAS? I knew that's their goal, but I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know what you think of as convenient and what you think of as inconvenient. This is a personal decision. I don't mind doing the complicated things in TrueNAS. Obviously, I make videos and tutorials about it, but a one-click deployment through HexOS is, that takes out what is a 20-minute tutorial that you would have had to watch. What's that worth to you? What's it worth it to you to not have to set up an app, but click a button and make the app go? That's the selling point of HexOS. What's your time worth? Do you want to learn how to do it, or do you want to check the box and they do it for you? That's what you're balancing. So will they? I think they make a lot of things easier with HexOS. I haven't looked at it lately. I looked at it when it first came out. I thought it was cool. I've talked to the people there. I like them. But, it's a value proposition. It's not for everyone. There's a lot of people. There's always those people that leave comments on TrueNAS. Any TrueNAS video I do, they hate the fact that TrueNAS exists. They think the entire world should just work from the command line. That person thinks TrueNAS shouldn't exist. Or that person just like saying that on my comments. I don't know which one of those things is true, but the comments are made. And some people just prefer to manage ZFS for my Canadian friends, the ZFS system from the command line and thinks that's the way to do it. There are definitely people who prefer that way. Go for it. There's no one telling you ZFS has to be managed by TrueNAS. I think it's easier, so I do that, but you certainly can do it from the command line. You can set up your Samba from the command line. You can do your ACLs from the command line. That's the thing. You can build that. It's what's your time worth. Now, TrueNAS is obviously free, so I don't think that's a bad deal. Just use TrueNAS. Whether or not you think HexOS is worth it is the value proposition, like I said. Oh, let's see. Make sure I catch up with the comments here. One-click deployments. Cloud configuration is a no-go. Is there a legit alternative for Active Directory? Not really. There's a reason. AD is not like I love it. It's what we have to use because nothing else is out there that is extensive as Active Directory. It's interoperable. You can tie Linux Samba to it. You can tie TrueNAS to it. You can tie a lot of these NASs to it. So the interoperability and just the fact that it's everywhere means we're probably stuck with it for a little while. There's just not a better solution to do centralized user management. LDAP exists, but LDAP's not the same. And I don't think there's anyone out there that's trying to build the alternative. There's not enough demand for it because me as the home user, I don't have Active Directory at home. And even if I have a few users at home, why would I bother with Active Directory? It's kind of a waste. And how much would I pay for it? $0. I barely need it anyways. So even if an open source system existed, how much time would I spend setting it up because it doesn't have a ton of value to me? How big do I have to be? Then you think of the small businesses, maybe, but if they're already buying an Office 365 license or already in the Azure system, they've already set it up there, they might just tie to that. So I don't know where that demand is. There's not enough places that run like an independent, I want to run my own AD server. Synology has something I've never really looked at. They have a system for doing it. It's based on Samba, but I don't really know. There's a couple projects out there, but I don't think I've ever seen any of them that made me go, yeah, that's a solid replacement. It's kind of cobbled together is how I feel. And by the way, all they're doing is emulating Active Directory. Yeah, if they did some one-click ACL settings, that would be cool for TrueNAS. I mean, that would be nice. Oh yeah, Canadians and Brits, ZFS. Samba is a throwback to PDC, BDC days last I seen. Yeah, I don't know. So used to, there was a time, and I believe this has been removed from Samba, or at least removed from TrueNAS. I remember I feel like there was an interface like 5 years ago, partially in TrueNAS, to let you do some of that with Samba. But I believe Samba removed it because it's just not, yeah, it wasn't great. Oh, will UniFi switches support non-consecutive link aggregation on ports? Doubt it. It's been that way for so long. I don't expect that to change. So yeah, I don't see that. There's a weird debate that was going on in my forums. Someone was trying to tell me UniFi doesn't support port mirrors, which I didn't understand because they absolutely support port mirrors. Trying to think if there's anything. Let's see. We'll switch back over to this camera. But yeah, when you're doing these, and now I gotta move my head. Moving over here. Here we go. Yeah, when you're doing the ports, if you want to do aggregation, they always do the ports like this. So, I mean, you can choose. Let me double check. I don't think I can choose a different order, can I? Oh, interesting. I don't know if that'll work. Interesting. Let's see. So can I do 15 and 19 actually? So we do 15, 19. Oh, yeah. I guess I was wrong. I've always put them next to each other because it makes more sense, but it looks like you can. So, yeah. So the answer is, when will it? Apparently today. So that's interesting. Oh, yeah, if you're doing mirroring, oh, that's interesting. If you're doing mirroring, it only lets you do it to 1. Yeah, and you pick the port you want to mirror. You can't pick multiples. Oh, the UI says you just like, all right, let's actually try it. So let's go back to aggregating. Let's see if this crashes the live stream. Actually, hold on. Let me do it on a different switch. Let me do it on my lab switch. So we're going to do 15. And 19. Yeah. Yep, it works. Now they're mirrored. Hey, look at that animation. Yeah, look at that. We'll make it bigger so you guys can see it. Ooh. They're aggregated together. When I mouse over them, they light up. So the answer is yes. I can use these for other things. It seems to be working. These are set to switching. So the answer is yes, they work. Also, the answer is didn't break the live stream. Pushing. I don't think I route through this switch. So, but I'm going to turn this off because I don't need it. I will cause myself confusion if I don't put this back. Apply. Oh no, don't. What did I do here? Oh, it just want to know it's let me know I'm going to switch to the other port too. That's fine. auto. There we go. Yeah. That's why I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing it on a switch where I break anything if something went wrong. So I'm not routing traffic through this particular one. So neat. I do like the way they do this, though. They've done so much to make this UI look a lot nicer. It's just kind of cool. Plus all this stuff. They did a nice job on, like, showing you all the SFPs. I've been really happy with all these things they've been doing, especially the Wi-Fi stuff. What is it called? The Wi-Fi AI, channel AI. Just nice. This is nice looking. We'll definitely go with that. Yeah, the MikroTik for 400G, Patrick from Serve the Home did a video on that. That thing's really cool. Is that's what you that's the UniFi interface for the UniFi Dream Machine, but it's actually the UniFi controller that looks like that. So yeah, I mean, local, you can get to it remotely or local. It's the same either way. It doesn't look different based on how you logged into it. Oh yeah, the animation will get the command line people twitching. Yes, it will. See, when tested, I have not tested that 180 camera. I got a whole lot of cameras I am testing. There are over there on a table a bunch of cameras that are all getting ready to be installed. So yes, I'm going to set them up. I'm installing them and doing some fun stuff with the cameras. Oh, you seen the prefixing URL? Actually, what you're seeing, and I've been using, this has been out for a little while, and obviously more enhancements on the way. If you're talking about the lawrencesystems.ui.com, so yeah, you are seeing that because of, you can do that where you build your own site for your clients or for a customer, and you can have your own URL. So it's a way to group things together. Matter of fact, I can switch to this. There's another view I can switch to. Yeah, I can share this one. Like this is another grouping of sites that are independent. So there's a lot you can do with some of the new stuff here. I'll be doing a whole video on how the site manager works. The site manager is really cool. They've been adding a lot of enhancements to it. So yeah, this is cool when you have a lot of different sites being pulled. These are all the Railstream ones. I got to work with Mike when we'll rebuild his too. So they're all grouped into railstream.ui.com or whatever. Yeah, the site manager's been going through some changes and a lot of good updates. So I will do a video on like how to use that as an MSP. Yeah, I have no idea if it's got a de-warped stream or not. Appreciate you set up US WAN, dual EFG, shadow mode, MLAG aggregation switches, and a bunch of 48 ports behind them. Yeah, MikroTik are advertising their as a leaf switch. I would like to see upcoming spine switch. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking really forward to the camera testing. I mean, we already test a lot of these cameras. I've done videos on UniFi cameras. I have some new ones because I have one of their PTZs that's amazing. I can pull that one up. This is kind of cool. So let me I can't show everything, so I got to get to the camera that I want first. So let me find the camera I'm looking for. So I think it's the BT. Yeah, let's play with this camera. Because I can show you this one. This is live. So so this is a nice wide view we have here. We got some presets. Oh, cool. We can do it full screen. These cameras are cool. So this is a couple of presets that are for the Rails, but let me, what do I got to do to get the controls working? Is it reset to home? Turn on mouse control. Yeah, this is the PTZ camera. Try to figure out why it's not taking the mouse commands on. Is it because these are open? Oh, that's why. Yeah, I guess you can't have that open there. Now, it might be coming through a little blurry because it's being a bit adaptive, but now let's go ahead and... So you see how far and how wide this is. Let's go crazy here. This is a bandwidth problem, not a clarity problem. Trust me, if I grab a screenshot and pull this. There we go. Hold on. And I'm going to grab a screenshot because it'll... Come on. It's pretty cool. Let me, if I grab another screenshot. All right. Let me figure out how to drag these over here. There are some things I'm not good at doing with a Mac yet, so. So, I got to get out of full screen. Is it escape? There we go. All right, these PTZ cameras are nice. The playback quality is good. The live stream, because of some bandwidth issues we're having right now, not as cool as it could be, I'll admit. So that was a little bit, not as, it's kind of lagging on bandwidth right there. Now where'd all the windows go? Oh, why does Mac do this? Mac sometimes makes things hard. How do I close? There's a stuck window over here now. Quit. There we go. So Mac does this thing where it will stick only a piece of a window but not drag it to the next window. I haven't figured out what makes it do that. It makes it really confusing when I'm trying to drag windows around. No, that camera is not even in the same state as the Railstream servers. So that's why there's some bandwidth issues. Like it's not in the same. It should be, but it's not for testing reasons. Where that is, and it's backhauling not only between states, not only over VPN, but also over a series of site to sites. There's a lot of pieces in between. There's a lot of hops. Yeah, stuck window on a Mac. I know. Quick, someone call that number. Yeah. Oh man. So I've done a video before, and I'm gonna do an updated one from like real time video and everything else on it. In I'm going to do it without the bandwidth limitations where it's set up properly. I have more of these cameras and I have some more over here. So I want to do some real thorough testing on it. But yeah, UniFi's really doing a great job in the camera market right now. Someone messaged me today and I don't know what to tell them. Like, they're like, well, I want to be able to try more cameras and I think it's more affordable not to use UniFi. I said, honestly, it's gotten to the point where Synology, I don't even think is a competitor anymore to UniFi when it comes to their cameras. Synology's surveillance station, I still have it. It works, but it hasn't changed. Like someone asked, I was going to do an updated video. I said, what changed? There's like nothing new in a Synology, and it's been how long? Like it's been a few years since I did a video and they haven't had an update. They're really not doing much with it. Snapping in settings on Mac OS, you running a stream on the MacBook Air. No, I have a Mac Studio and it's just, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Matter of fact, here's what's going to go in the video. Let me see if this one show in folder. If I open this up, can I drag it to here? So you can see it. All right, cool. This is a screenshot of my old system. It figures my head's exactly where I don't want it. So let me move my head. Whee, there we go. 415 watts. So this is the system rendering my old system that's got an NVIDIA A6000 in it, 48 gigs of RAM. It renders video reasonably fast. This is a Threadripper. So we got what? 26 cores? Yeah, Threadripper Pro, 26 cores. Plenty of memory. But it renders only about... The Mac is almost twice as fast. And the Mac uses, at its peak, 100 watts. That's how stark the difference is between the Mac silicone and using, and this is the same, I was using Linux, but it does the same in Windows. Like that is dramatic. To me, that's just wild to have that much of a difference in terms of power consumption. Like, it's just wild. I don't use Starlink. I don't have it as backup either. Yeah, I don't love the walled garden, but performance per watt and the fact that it's cheaper. So this system is going to get repurposed for something else. And so I had to buy something. And there's no cost justification to rebuild a similar system. I can't justify buying the graphics card. The graphics card alone costs more than the Mac Studio before I put a computer around it, and it renders slower and hotter. So it's really tough as someone who needs to create video. Now, I still have my framework laptop. I still have lots of Linux systems around me, and I'm still a Linux person for anything I do. But the exception is I need to edit videos. And at some point, as much as I want to be on the Linux world, people care more about me getting the video done than they do about how I made it. The people are going, oh, no, I can't watch Tom's videos. He didn't use Linux to produce this video. Somewhat I did because I probably recorded some Linux screens and Linux things that are doing. So it's one of those, yeah, I had to do that. I have not bothered trying Linux on a MacBook Air. I'm hoping they get it right, but every time I've looked at it, it seems so far from right. It's just so buggy that it isn't worth it for me. No, PTZ is cool. I would not only have a PTZ as my problem. PTZ is kind of novel, but you should have, and this is something that is set up at this site, you should have full coverage of the area and PTZ be a bonus. The problem with PTZ is squirrel and it gets distracted and it looks at the wrong thing. And if someone figures out a way to distract your PTZ and you don't have coverage of the area, something can happen in the area. I mean, This is like a movie trope. Any type of burglary movie distracts the PTZ in some way. That's maybe a movie trope, but it's also why I would not cover an area only with the PTZ. I would cover it with something to cover the area at a good resolution, maybe several cameras, and then a PTZ in the mix because you want to be able to look at something closer, and hopefully you have that opportunity to do so. Yeah, is it Ashai? I wasn't sure how to say it, but that's the Linux distro that's made for the Mac hardware. Um, what's the config you expect and what's the final price? I think, hold on. I think I go to the about page. Is that how that works? I'm actually looking right now. I'm not a specs nerd. This is oh, I'm sorry. I do have the Apple M4 Max. So M4 Max with 36 gigs of RAM and a 512 drive. There's all my hardware specs for Apple. So it is an M4 Max, not an M4 Pro. Details matter. So M4 Max with 36 gigs. And the M4 Max, it was $1,600 plus shipping. So that's the idea on the price, which is probably less now because, yeah, it's pretty a base config. There's not a lot else to it. Yeah, I got it. I think the price is like $1,900, but I got it for that. But you can't build. I priced it out. It is in every way a slower system to build a Linux or Windows-based system to render video. So that's where the challenge is. Yeah, it really is. It's the best bang for the buck. As a matter of fact, editing on it is easier. The reason why is it's smoother. I didn't change anything else. I'm still connected to the same NAS, the same video projects files, the same software. I'm using DaVinci Resolve. I use DaVinci Resolve on Mac. I used DaVinci Resolve when I was using Linux. I've even run DaVinci Resolve on Windows just to see if it was any different. Windows and Mac have better codec support. Linux is missing some codecs for when you edit. So I had some workarounds for dealing with it, but it's kind of a pain part with using DaVinci Resolve in Linux. You may not have access to all of the features you're looking for, let's just say. Move my head around some more. Or should I make myself big again? Whee! I like this view better, I guess. I don't know. Someone said they liked to be, I didn't plug it in. I have another camera sitting over there. Oh, by the way, you don't notice this. I got to do an updated video. The background you're seeing is NDI. So I've switched from capture card to NDI broadcast for some of the things. So I'm slowly updating my studio. And for those of you that are interested in that stuff, I'm actually using OBS on the Mac with NDI. That's how, so my Mac broadcasts NDI and my Windows computer. By the way, if you wonder what it looks like, here's Infinite Tom. But right here is the Mac Studio. If we do a properties, you can see that it's the NDI plugin to do it. So this is NDI pulling it in. I know it looks weird. I might do a video on setting it up because I thought NDI would be harder than it is, but NDI is actually really easy. NDI only seems difficult until you do it. Oh, Chris is using it too. Yeah. There's a couple companies that support taking your camera and sending it over NDI. It's kind of like, it ain't broke, don't fix it is sometimes how I feel, but also I kind of want to try it because I like the idea of having my cameras send everything NDI over the network and building out an NDI switch that's dedicated to it. So I can just use my cameras and plug them into the network. So yeah, it's so simple. OBS, I would say OBS is perfectly fine on the Mac. OBS is fine on Windows, Linux, and Mac. I like OBS. So I think it's a really solid solution all the way. Yeah, what I'm going to do is an updated studio tour, and I'll just include the setup for how this is configured. Like I'll walk through, like, here's how I built the studio. Here's the details. Here's how I control it. Here's how data gets from here to here. Here's how NDI gets from the Mac from OBS in the Mac to the OBS in here. It's butter smooth. There's no lag. When I drag these windows, you're seeing this. This is NDI broadcast to another system that then streams it out. There's no, like, I can see in my eyes because I got two monitors physically in front of me. When I move this, I can see barely a millisecond of delay. It's so slight. It's there. It's just the littlest amount. Only because I'm moving it can I see it. So it's pretty cool. It stays really crisp. Even if I shake it, it doesn't. NDI, I think it's called HX, is the compressed version. I'm not using compressed. I'm using the raw. There are some videos on it. But there's not many, so I might do one just because there's not many videos on it. Matter of fact, let's bring my well, this is fun. I don't know what this is going to look like. Let's find out. Because now I don't have a preview. So if we do this, whoops, there's my Mac. This is the Windows PC doing this. And if we do the task manager, there, you can see it's pulling some data, receive data. So I only have a 1 gig. I might switch it to a 10 later. Right now, it's only got a 1 gig in it. By the way, this is how much CPU power streaming uses. Let's see. Sending NDI is an effort on device. Let's see. Attempted to sort of set up years ago, couldn't get it smoky smooth, gave up. Do you have to pay for Vinci Resolve if you have multiple GPUs and network rendering tasks, such as I don't see how Apple can come near AMD and NVIDIA for compete. Do you have to pay for DaVinci? I have the Pro version, so you can do this free version of DaVinci Resolve, but I have it's a one-time fee to buy the Pro version, so I have that version. I think it's $600. Don't quote me on the price. It goes on sale. You can find it for cheaper. Hey, you know what, Chris? Thanks for joining the live stream, but we should probably chat. We haven't talked in a minute, so when you get a chance, I'll ping you on Discord or whatever. Got lots to talk about, lots to catch up on. But you don't see how Apple can come near AMD for... Were you at UWC, Chris? All right, cool. Oh, okay. I thought it missed me at UWC. I was like, I didn't know you were there. Sorry. All right, we'll catch up later, man. Have fun. Oh, they don't invite you to shit anymore. That's his life. Anyways, you don't see how Apple can come near AMD NVIDIA for compute or GPU. This is my point. Oh, one time $295 for the studio. Okay, so it's a lot less than that. I thought it was more for some reason. My bad. But as I was pointing out earlier, we'll pull this back up. I mean, I don't have a picture handy right now of the render time. But when I just show you the wattage that they're using and the fact that yeah, 415 peak watts when it was rendering. Like I said, it's amazing to me that the Apple, so this particular project that I did, they're the same exact project, pulled off the same TrueNAS, they're same all the way around. You take the project, you render it with the same exact settings on the system that has you can see, I don't know if you see it here and read it, it says A6000, so this is an A6000 with the Threadripper, because there is some level of CPU usage, mostly GPU, but there is some CPU usage when you do DaVinci Resolve. And this system took just like 5 minutes and 30 seconds, I think it was. So let's say 5:30 to round it. It might have been 5 minutes and 37 seconds. When I do the video, I'll have the precision in there, and peaked out at 400 watts. The Mac did it in 3.5 minutes and peaked out at 100 watts. That is amazing. It's doing it substantially faster and using less power, because technically if you could ramp up more power, you'd get it done faster in theory. So it wouldn't have shocked me if the system was using more, but it's using less power and it's rendering substantially faster. So the time it was using the 100 watts is much, much less, because it only peaked 100 watts for a little bit and then it was done rendering. So it is wild how much faster Apple is at doing this. Like, it's not the same game. Apple's doing this at a different level. Get things. Actually, I probably don't need this anymore. I've showed this enough. We'll drag this off screen. It's cluttered. I don't need the clutter on the screen. But it's also nerd stats, and I like nerd stats. It's funny how people are discovering Apple Silicon due to just hating Apple, which is fair. Yeah. One-time license in the world of SaaS subscriptions is a nice bonus. Oh, yeah. DaVinci is one of those companies that's also, people cheer it, but it's also, they're just going back to the way it used to be for us. But yeah, I don't love the fact that, I wanted to stay with Linux. I didn't like having to move to a different environment, but for practical reasons, it's like I said, there's the other thing I'd like to mention, and this is just the mentality a lot of technical people seem to have. Will make me, there we go. I feel more in frame now. Is that there's this all or nothing assumption a lot of people have. Oh, so you're only Mac. No. I'm using Mac because it's a tool for the job, but no, I actually more comfortable in Linux, but I use Linux all the time, daily. My laptop, my framework laptop whenever I'm not in my studio, I'm usually working from my framework laptop, and it's all Linux, and I'm completely happy there. Matter of fact, like, I don't have any of my business accounting tools at all on this Mac setup. There's no reason to. It's not going to ever do any of my business accounting, so I'm not logged into any of that. I do that still on my framework. That my framework's my go-to laptop for all my Linux things. Yeah, I have a lot of Linux servers, of course. So right now I'm using Ubuntu on the framework. I'll take the extra time to render video rather than not being able to fix my hardware. I mean, you could say that, but I'd rather not spend right now, if that same system, if I were to go on eBay and buy it, it's like $5,000 or $6,000. I'd rather spend $1,600 than $5,000 or $6,000. I can go buy, if the Mac goes bad, I can go buy several of them for what I'd pay for that. It's not just the render time or the wattage, it's also how much it costs. And obviously it's a function of the AI craziness that's going on, that those video cards are more in demand than normal. So it's a big cost difference too. Yeah, I'm a tools guy, like Jeff, just like Jeff says it. Teams supports NDI. I hate Teams, so, I had no idea Teams supports it, but I would not use Teams. What surprised me is that render was in DaVinci Resolve, wasn't it? I would understand if Final Cut Pro had some secret sauce that was silicone, but no, that's what I'm saying. It's all DaVinci. It's not like I'm using different software to edit. I'm using the same exact software. And I'm not saying I'm recommending people buy an Apple. I'm saying, hey, if you want DaVinci Resolve to affordably edit fast and work really well, and you have a workflow for DaVinci Resolve, the tool you are probably best suited to buy is a Mac. Matter of fact, Jeff from Craft Computing grabbed his Mac Mini and said, wow, this edits really well with a Mac Mini. And that's true. You can run DaVinci Resolve on a Mac Mini. So a $600 Mac Mini, I think they're like $599, will also outperform a lot of higher end GPUs. But how many of you are video editors? If that answer is none, then I don't have a recommendation. I'm not recommending Mac to everyone. I'm recommending those of you who video edit, that's the best bang for your buck. The same thing with why I'm showing this Windows computer. Why do I run a Windows system at all? Well, it's really simple. It runs OBS and all the capture stuff really well. I might switch it to Linux eventually, but I have to figure out how to make my Stream Decks work, because this is how I switch things back and forth, is with a little Stream Deck. The cord's not long enough, so I can't get it. Can I? I'll unplug it if I pull it any harder. So we'll just say there's a Stream Deck over here, and this little Stream Deck is great, and it doesn't work well. It works okay with a bunch of random Python scripts inside of Linux. It's not worth the hassle. So being able to switch back and forth very quickly for my workflow, stop stream, start stream, and all that means this is a better workflow for that. Well, actually, fun fact right now is if you want memory for anything, memory prices have gone crazy. So if you would like to purchase memory for insert name of thing, you pay a whole lot more today, because as of right now in November of 2025, memory's expensive. Have you tried the BitFocus? I don't know what the BitFocus companion is, so I will Google it. So no, I haven't tried it because I don't know what it is. BitFocus companion. I'm just curious what this thing is. I guess we'll bring it over here so I can share with the class. What is a BitFocus companion? Now my head's too big again. I need to create a scene where my head's not big, which is also something that works really well in, whoops. There we go. Shotbox for everybody. Is this hardware or software? Oh, okay. Interesting. Pi files from, huh. So like programmable buttons. See, my workflow is not this complicated, so I don't need this. It looks cool, but it's beyond my needs, is what I would say. Looks cool if I was into more stuff. How is H.265 or AV1 on a Mac Mini? My understanding is it works great. I think I'm using just H.265. I don't think I've tried AV1. Hold on. I have to look at what my export settings are. I followed one of the guides on YouTube because it wasn't available in Linux. The codec was missing. I think I'm doing everything 265 right now. So yeah. Well, is coding a NAS or just, oh yeah. It's all the stupid hypervisor companies being, well, how they are. So they, not great. They're driving the price up, and we'll just let the AI bubble pop so we can have affordable cards again. Well, normally I'd believe you that the memory isn't more expensive, your currency has less value, but it's up for everyone. This is not just a value thing. This is a supply and demand economics problem. The supply is this, the demand is this, so the price is this. So it's, yeah. AI bubble pops and A6000s and cracker boxes. Yeah. Hey, sell them while they're hot, man. Make the money back. Yep, it's the right tool for the job. Mac, Linux, Windows, whatever. I never thought I'd be using Mac. I also never realized that the Mac would be this fast. I just didn't. I started watching videos and I was kind of in disbelief watching people show the speed differences. I was like, this can't be true. Like, I was really puzzled by that. Thank you very much for the super chat. So we got Erwink 6669. Did I read that right? I'm running to the end of my stream here because I'm getting tired. Well, I've just had a lot to say today, and I'm out of water. No, current market is not normal economics. It's stuff that don't make no sense. Yeah, the current market is very, very broken. There is no doubt about that. But I can't fix that. Those aren't my problems to solve. I'm here to talk about tech things and all that fun stuff. But I am going to wind it down here. Is there any last couple of questions people have before I bounce out of here? Because I'll take the last final questions, and then I'm going to have a little bit of dinner, work on a couple projects, and relax a little bit. So how was my day? My day was busy, but in the best way. I had a really good, productive, busy day. So some days are busy, but you don't feel like you moved that pile of things to do over. This time I got a pile of things done and completed, and that made me happy. If I start saying iPhone 17, no, I'm not switching to iPhone. I'm still team Android. So I'm happy with my Android phone. I have no complaints on that. Android phone does the trick. Good game. Yeah, I might relax. I've been playing the Ghost of Tsushima. I'm almost done with that game, so I might finish playing it. Just, it's a good chill out, relax type thing. Definitely enjoying it. You're going from iPhone to Pixel. I have a lot of friends that are on iPhone. I mean, I don't think much about the phones. The reality is the phone market has, for very unfortunately, become controlled by two companies down the street from each other. Think about that for a minute. Like all the apps, all the applications, two companies down the street from each other have control over the phone market. That is insane. I don't like that in any way. I don't think that's the way it should be. I have been keeping an eye out for things like graphene, and there's a few other OSs. I have not tested them, but I'm really curious about it. So, hey, thank you very much for the $10 donation. It is greatly appreciated. Thanks for your time. Stay Team Android. Be well time. I want to go away from Team Android. I want to have Team Open Source. That's what I want to see for the phone systems and see what else is out there. I don't love the way that Google's talking about locking down and stopping you from sideloading. No, I want to be able to have control over my devices. So that is, one of those things I think is important is that we get to that point. Again, we were there. We've wandered away from there. We need to get back to having control over devices we own, devices we can take apart ourselves and do what we can without risk of being in trouble for doing so. Flash different firmwares and things like that. That's important. So, yes. All right. Enough ranting about that, because I already know I'm preaching to the choir. All of you want the same thing. None of you are saying, no, lock-in's better. We're all being screwed by these. Framework phone. There we go. There's another one. I still love my Framework laptop. And by the way, the Framework laptop, and I said this in a video, I don't start out telling you because it's not true. It is not it's a hard pitch on value. If you're someone who's struggling and you don't have a lot of money, I'm not going to tell you the Framework laptop is the thing you should buy and sink your money into. I buy it to support the company. I like it to support the company. I'm enthusiastic about Framework because I want them to succeed. I want more companies that are open and let us have access to the hardware. But for those of you that are budget constrained, don't sacrifice a meal to buy a Framework. Or a lot of meals. Framework's not cheap. So yeah. Yeah, I know there's some companies that are getting into graphene. I haven't really done much with it, but it's getting, let's just say, more and more on my radar for something I want to look at. So definitely, I have an interest in it. But thank you. Awesome. Time to go play some games, I think. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do next. I'm going to say play games. By the way, if you go to my website, lawrencesystems.com, scroll down the bottom, you can connect with me on Steam or any of the socials. I always say any of the socials now because social media changes. I meet people where they're at. I sign up for whatever appears to be at least some of, but not all of some of the social platforms, just so I can connect with people there. They can tag me on some of those platforms. I've not bothered with TikTok and some of those, but at least there's a few places for where I think a lot of people are. So you can always reach out to me. Steam is included in my socials because why not? I know Ghost of Tsushima is not at least I don't think of it as a multiplayer game, but for those of you that like games, I once I finish that game, I want to play some multiplayer ones. So reach out and let me know what game you want to play. I'm interested. So yeah. All right. Great. Awesome. I'm going to bounce out of here now. Now comes that part where I got to remember where that button is. I think it's right here where it says end stream. So I think I click it now and the stream ends. Take care, everyone.